Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Ed's Quit Smoking by Vaping channel. I'd like to say hello to the viewers, subscribers, the Facebook page, which I love. So what's up everybody? Hope you guys are doing good. Wanted to mention, I know that I mentioned it in the Facebook page, but I'm over 11 weeks in smoke-free. Feels fantastic. I feel great. Wanted to just throw that one out there because I always like to give an update of how long I've been smoke-free. There's one thing that I want to mention about the channel that I'm going to be sort of going in the direction of different topics, different experiences, different triggers, and how to deal with them. Because I know for a fact that it can be tough to look up videos on YouTube of how to deal with certain situations, certain triggers. And, you know, at the end of the day, this channel is meant for at least one person to be helped, because I know that I was looking for a lot of help, which I found eventually, but I was looking for a lot of help on YouTube videos and things like that on how to get through certain situations, and I couldn't really narrow it down to certain triggers that I'm sure a lot of people go through the same ones. So I want to cover a lot of them, and you know, I have been doing them in the past couple videos. Last one I did like how to prepare for the unexpected, and the one before that I touched on another one, like how to avoid relapses, things like that. But it gets a little bit more deeper than that. There's certain situations that go into those scenarios that you're going to want to look out for. You know, it gets, like I said, it gets more in depth. So a couple of different things I want to mention is, number one, a lot of people are kind of wondering, like, how long will it take before I stop wanting a cigarette? Now, this is a tricky one. What I can mention from my own personal experience is, do I want a cigarette? No. The passing thought of having a cigarette definitely comes. It definitely comes in different situations, whether it would be you're out with your friends having a couple of drinks, whether it would be you're just hanging out with a buddy on break and you're vaping and he's smoking. Look, these situations are going to come up. They are definitely going to come up. Will they go away, the fact that you want to have a cigarette? Yes, they will. Now, it just takes some time. I can honestly say for myself that every single trigger that I've had is slowly going away. You know, and it starts with the most basic ones possible. The ones where you're having a cup of coffee in the morning and you had that cigarette. The one where you hop in your car and you're driving, whether it be a short distance or a long distance. Look, these things are going to be tough at first, and you're going to want to panic, and maybe for different people it might take more time, or for other people it might take a shorter amount of time, but really it will get easier. To be honest with you, it's not as bad as you think. Stop thinking long term. It's going to be okay. You know, don't hit the panic button just yet. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep going through the motions. It will get easier. I can honestly say now that every time I hop into my car, I don't think about having a cigarette. Do I think about vaping? Of course, you know, because I'm still addicted to nicotine, and I'm still going to gradually get off of it when the time is coming. Which, by the way, I want to mention that I'm mixing 18 and 12 right now, so I'm at 15, so I've cut down a little bit, just because I know my triggers, you know. But really, what I want to mention is, you know, at first it's going to be difficult. We have a lot of triggers as smokers. We have a lot. We smoke through every kind of situation that you can think of. Whether we were happy, we were sad, we were, you know, pissed off, we were driving, we were finished eating, we were drinking, we were on a balcony relaxing, we were bored. I mean, I can come up with 1,000 different reasons why we lit up a smoke. But at the end of the day, hit it one thing at a time, you know? Know that there's ways to get around it, you know? Like I said, well, I haven't said it before, but use the vape as much as possible to get through those triggers, because eventually you're going to stop thinking that, you know, you're actually wanting to have a cigarette. Instead, you're going to think, okay, I want to have a vape now. It will get to that point. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some patience. It's going to, same thing, but it's going to take some effort as well. You know, it's not going to be done for you. Like, you have to put a little bit of effort. Those times where you really want to have a cigarette, you have to really stop yourself and think about it, you know. And I always like to think about this, whether I'm drinking or whether I'm out with friends or whether it's the smallest thing in the world. I always tell myself, what's the tomorrow version of me gonna tell the version of me now? Seriously, it really works, because I know for a fact, every single time that I caved, I always felt at least a little bit of regret. I'm not gonna say a lot. Most of the time it was a lot, though. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, it was difficult. It was difficult to deal with the next day. It's a shitty day, pardon my language, but it's not a fun experience. It's not a fun experience no matter what. You can say what you want. You can talk to your friends. They can make you feel good as much like, oh yeah, but you're doing great. But at the end of the day, I know deep down, at least for me, I was feeling like I failed. I was feeling like I could not handle it. Like the cigarette was stronger than me. And that's not a feeling you want to have. Because the more those kind of situations happen, the more that you're going to feel that the cigarette is superior to you. And that's not the case. It will take some time. It's going to take effort. You have to put a little bit of work in. You have to know your commit date. You have to stick to it. You have to want it. That's what it comes down to. You have to want it. And if you don't, that's okay. I'm not saying it's not. Like, it took me 9 months to quit smoking. I know that it takes time and effort. I'm not giving you a green light to do it, don't get me wrong, but I know that it can take time, whatever your situation may be. It's really not easy, and I know that for a fact because it happened with me. It took a long time. So don't put any extra pressure on yourself. Try to realize that the tomorrow version of yourself is going to be like, think about what the tomorrow version of yourself is going to tell the version of you right now. And I'm pretty sure 99% of the time it's going to say, look, don't do it, keep going. You're going to be happier in the morning or the afternoon or whatever, knowing that you didn't cave. So think of that, seriously. And not only that, think of a long-term version of yourself. Like, seriously, think about a version of yourself, like, let's say you're 30. Think about like a version of yourself at 55 or whatever, and you're starting to have some problems because you had a cigarette here and there and whatever, and maybe you fell back into the old ways, the habits. Look, I know for myself that I cannot take that chance. I cannot take that chance of going back to my old habits and ways, because look, who's to say when you quit smoking and then you relapse that you're going to have the same willpower, you're going to have the same desire? Nobody knows. Nobody knows at all. Like, yourself, you're going to know. And it's easy to use that as a security blanket, like, oh, well, I quit before, I'll quit again. Don't fall into that trap, because you never know if you're going to be as motivated to do it again as you are right now. And if you are right now committed to quit smoking and you have that drive, and you're just having a little bit of difficulty doing it, totally normal. Don't hit the panic button. Just keep going. Keep going with it. Don't play with fire here. And that's exactly what it is. It's your life. You're playing with fire. Don't do it. Really, it's what it really comes down to. So these triggers go away in time. Seriously, like I said, when I hop in my car and drive, I don't think about smoking anymore. I think of, vaping for sure. In the morning when I wake up, I think about vaping for sure. After meals, I think about vaping. When I'm having drinks, I think about vaping. When I'm relaxing, I'm thinking about vaping. You see where I'm getting at? Before it was, okay, I'm having drinks, I want to smoke. I'm relaxing, I want to smoke. I'm watching TV, I want to smoke. I'm bored, I want to smoke. Now it's the opposite. Now I'm thinking about vaping. Look, one thing at a time. I know that I had a personal problem with nicotine, and that's why it kept making me go back to cigarettes. So one thing at a time. Don't put any added pressure on yourself. You will gradually get off the nicotine. You will gradually stop vaping, or keep vaping if you want to. Who am I to say what to do? It's up to you guys. So I wanted to give you guys an example. I'm definitely having a couple beers tonight. Feels good though, because you're going to also want to get back to that version of yourself where, hey, I used to have drinks and not smoke. That's another thing you're going to want to think about. And if I already brought this up, I'm sorry. I've had a long week. I'm extremely tired. So if I already brought this up, I apologize. But you're going to want to think about that sort of aspect too. That cigarettes weren't always a part of your life. They were for a big chunk of it or a small chunk of it, but you know, before you were also happy without it. So that's another good thing to try to get in your mind, you know. So yeah, these triggers do go away. You know, it will get easier, especially with the drinking too. Look, the first couple of times are going to be tricky. Jasper Photobomb, hello. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. But yeah, the first couple of times are going to be tricky, guys. You know, I know for me, what I like to do is, well, what I did was I surrounded myself with non-smokers, at least for the first like 2 or 3 times that I was drinking. Depends how much you drink during the week, of course. If you drink like, let's say 3-4 times a week, I mean, you know, you're going to want to surround yourself with some smokers for, you know, probably about a month. But like, you know, if you're like me and you know, you like to indulge a little bit on the weekends, I would say do it for a good 2-3 weeks. Honestly, it's going to make all the difference. You're not going to get that temptation of cigarettes being around you and like, oh yeah, I want one. Fuck it, I'll start again tomorrow. You're not going to go through that. If there's no cigarettes in the pitcher, it's going to be a lot easier. You're just going to enjoy the company, have your drinks, use your vape, and go from there. So I would do that at first. It does get easier. Do I still want a cigarette when I drink? It's more of a passing thought. It's more like, again, it's more of a passing thought. Like, oh, I'm drinking tonight. I used to do that. I used to have a fun time doing it. And it was fun. At the time, it was fun. So don't deny it. You know, don't think like, oh yeah, like I'm stronger than the cigarette. You might not be. You want one. Admit it and move on. That's what I gotta say. Honestly, the more you accept it and admit it, the easier it's gonna be to fight it. Accept it, vape on, and it's gonna get a lot easier from there. You look, you know, and you know, at some point, a month in or 2 months in or whatever, once you start having your drinks, you're going to stop thinking about cigarettes also. You're just going to think like, okay, I'm vaping. And then eventually it's going to be the next step. You're going to think like, okay, look, I was vaping before and now I'm drinking without anything. Look, it's a stepping stone, right? And the people that vape, they know that, you know, it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time. Know your triggers. Know your triggers. That's the most important thing I could tell you. Now for me, I know that like softball is a huge trigger for me this summer. I know that once the weather gets nicer, it's a huge trigger. Once I'm out there having drinks on, you know, the patio or terrace, I don't know what you guys call it too, but once you're outside or you're on the beach or whatever, you know, we've all done it. We've all had those situations where, yes, that was a nice time to have a cigarette. Now, it's just going to take some time. Make your own path. Make your own sort of rules. Don't go by somebody else's rules. Just because they quit in 3 months. Doesn't matter if they quit vaping in 3 months. Do what you want to do. Do what's going to make you step away from cigarettes, you know, because really that's the goal here. There's no guidelines. Like, I can give you advice for sure, but how long you're going to do it for, it's up to you. It's whatever your triggers cause you. If you know you have a wedding coming up in like 9 months, then vape for 9 months if it means that you're going to, you know, vape that night and then afterwards you can get over it. If you want to, like in my case, I know that I'm going to have to do it for a year just to get through the next Christmas and New Year's, because I know those are going to be tricky ones. And again, I know that spring, summer, that sort of thing, it's not going to be easy. So I set my own limitations. And if it takes me longer, if I need to get through those situations 2 times, then so be it. So be it. Fact of the matter is, I'm 11 weeks in, smoke-free, cigarette-free, and I feel amazing. So, you know, pave your own path, guys. Seriously, pave your own path. The triggers are going to get easier. Seriously, they will. You know, the drinking thing is going to get easier as well. So just realize that, yay, yes, I do want a cigarette here and there, or you're thinking about one. Realize it and just move on. It's really going to be easier once you do accept the fact that, hey, it's going to come. It's something that you're going to think of. And you know what? Yeah, I used to do it. Great. But be proud of yourself that the fact that you're not picking it up right now. Be super proud of yourself. Give yourself a little reward or something, or however you want to give yourself that reward, do it. You know, because look, you're gonna save a lot of money. You're gonna save your life at the end of the day. So keep doing what you're doing. I hope this video helped you, and I'm gonna wrap it up right now because I'm rambling on like I always do. But I love doing this. So anyways, guys, I'll do another video next week on a different topic. If you have any sort of suggestions, let me know. I will definitely cover it. I guarantee you it. 11 weeks smoke free. No problems, man. No problems at all. You know, driving, coffee, drinking. I was going to say sleeping. That doesn't matter. Whatever the case may be. After meals, bored, having fun, feeling pissed off, feeling sad, traumatic event. I can keep coming up with situations. I did not cave. I have gone through every single one of these, guys, and you will too. All right? Take it easy.